At the end of The Mandalorian Season 1, we see the armorer kick some stormtrooper hiney. Not one, not two, but 5 of them. She does it without much effort and without the use of traditional weapons, wielding only a hammer and a pair of magnetic tongs. She appears to be the sole survivor of the Covert. Just before that, we got to see the rest of the Mandalorian Covert in action. They took down a horde of bounty hunters and thugs, also with ease. Of course, they did use the weapons in their arsenal, but given the seriousness of the event at hand, we could see why. Jetpacks blazing, missiles exploding, and a heavy machine gun making short work of the bounty hunters guild on Navarro. As powerful as these Mandalorians were, what was used to defeat them in their hideout today?
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Gerald, and I'm a Star Wars fanatic, and you can be a Star Wars fanatic too. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Stay up to date on all my content that I release. Also, leave a comment, and I'll pick one comment from this video to highlight at the end of the next video, just as I'm about to do at this one. Now, with all that said, let's get on with today's topic.
Just before we see the armorer lay waste to the stormtroopers, Mando returns to the hideout. It seems deserted. Then he sees piles of empty Mandalorian armor. Armor that once covered the Mandalorians that helped him escape the Bounty Hunters Guild. Mando kneels down and picks up a helmet. The helmet resembles his own. He tells his crew to go, that he can't leave it this way. Then the armorer appears. She is collecting the armor to melt down and recycle. She tells Din Djarin that the Empire came and this is what resulted, and that she hopes some escaped off-world. Let's think about that for a moment. The Empire did this. No doubt with stormtroopers and maybe some death troopers. At least everyone that we could see, other than the armorer, of course. Again, the Empire did this. Just minutes later, the Empire shows up again to finish the work they started. 5 stormtroopers. Regular stormtroopers. They are taken out easily. So I will ask the question, then give my explanation of the events. How did stormtroopers cause this much destruction? We see they couldn't take out one armorer. She wasn't even using conventional Mandalorian weapons. This was a regular cleanup squad of stormtroopers. Had the Empire knew these Mandalorians existed, which they did know, why would they send regular stormtroopers to finish them off? And how did regular stormtroopers kill so many of them? The answer isn't shown in any episode of The Mandalorian. Maybe we will get something at another time in another season, but for now, we are left to speculate and theorize. And if you know me at all, I do have a theory. Okay, so the Covert finishes helping Mando and the child, Grogu, escape Navarro. It was a good battle that they enjoyed. Why? Because they were warriors, and it has been a long time since they were able to exercise that tradition. It felt good to be alive again. It felt good to be Mandalorians again. Out in the open, fighting for one of their own. Being the victors once again. It had been an even longer time since they could call themselves victors. They were once conquerors of worlds, skilled fighters, and numbered in the hundreds of thousands. This is where they belonged, in battle. But the truth is, their numbers were no longer a secret, and they were known to be on Navarro. It didn't take long for the Empire to get wind of the rumors and whispers of a Mandalorian return. A return that could spell doom for the area's Imperial remnant. They must be found and killed once and for all. After all, it was a Mandalorian that took the child Grogu from them. It was time to get the child back and eliminate the threat before they were more emboldened. The Mandalorians return to their hideout in the sewer tunnels. They know their time is limited and they must get off-world before trouble comes. Retreating was not in the Mandalorians' nature, but they were too few in numbers to take on anything bigger than what they just took on. It was time to find a new home. They traveled light, only what they could carry. Space was limited, and too much became cumbersome. As they gathered up what they could, they heard it, footsteps rushing toward them. But that wasn't all. They could hear something mechanized rolling its way in cadence with the footsteps. Stormtroopers would be no problem for the small band of Mandalorians, no matter how many they threw at them. They could set up a perimeter and bottleneck the incoming troops. bodies would pile up fast and it would slow them further. Even though the children of the Watch had just had a battle, it was a victory and their adrenaline was pumping for another. If they could pull this off, they wouldn't have to leave and may even be able to move above ground. Maybe even put the word out to other Mandalorian clans that they had a new place to reunite. But the sound of the machine moving in closer wasn't a good sign. They made plans to escape through the back of the tunnels, but when they began, another sound of footsteps and a machine moving towards them. This wasn't the sound of a scout walker. The space was too small for that, and it wasn't the high-pitched sound of an Imperial hover tank. It was a lower pitch. The closer it got, the more they could hear. The machine was humming louder and louder, as if it were charging up, warming up. There was nowhere to go. They had to stand back to back and fight whatever this was. With their escape routes cut off, they dug in and readied their weapons, aiming at each corridor, standing in a circle with their backs to each other. Then it happened. A bright blue glow could be seen growing brighter as it approached the huddled clan. Closer and closer, until horror. The beams of energy hit the Mandalorians' armor and disintegrated them where they stood. Their armor fell empty and lifeless onto the floor in a pile, leaving a monument to the last stand of the Children of the Watch. The clan had just fell victim to the power of the Duchess once again. They watched the Duchess rip through their Mandalorian brothers and sisters during the Imperial Purge of Mandalore, and now the blue glow was the last thing they saw. Okay, so that's my theory on what happened to Din Djarin's covert on Navarro. For those who don't know, the Duchess was a weapon Sabine Wren built before the events of Star Wars Rebels. It was made to target Mandalorian armor and heat the armor to a temperature that would render the wearer to ash in seconds. Sabine destroyed the prototype during Rebels, but I suggest that more could have been made before she got the chance to destroy it. We all know how Emperor Palpatine loved big weapons that killed mass people, so this would be an account for the lack of stormtrooper bodies or even stormtrooper armor in the tunnels. Had they attacked with troops, there would surely be more dead on the Empire's side than on the Mandalorian side. And we saw what short work the armorer made of stormtroopers without the use of rockets or blasters. The squad was sent to find the child if he happened to be in the covert during the fight. The Empire assumed all Mandalorians had been killed by the Duchess, and Grogu would not have been harmed by the weapon. But that's my theory. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, I could be wrong, but it explains a lot. Even the pile of armor. The armorer wouldn't have piled it up just to come back to retrieve it. She would have retrieved it where it lay. Anyways, tell me what you think happened, and let's compare theories.
And at this time, I'd like to go ahead and take a moment to recognize the top comment from the last video. This comment comes from King Andros, and he had this to say. Star Wars was major influence on my development as a kid. I remember the day my dad brought home the complete original trilogy VHS tape set. I questioned it. He told me to just watch it. The moment Darth Vader appeared on screen the first time, I was hooked. Thank you, King Andros. I really appreciate that comment, and it really exemplifies what a lot of us feel as Star Wars fans. And thank you everybody for the comments you've given. Most of you have been generally respectful, and even if we disagree, we can continue to encourage each other and have a civil debate. So thank you. Keep the comments coming. And if you are new here and you just want to become a Star Wars fanatic, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's all you have to do. And when you do hit the subscribe button, you are entering yourself in for a chance to win this Winter Soldier figure from Sideshow Toys. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment. It's free and it's easy. But if you don't like free stuff, you can go ahead and hit the membership button as well. Hit the little join up there by the subscribe button and enjoy the perks that come along with it. Every dollar that I make on YouTube, I put at least 75 cents of that back into my channel. So memberships help out with growing this channel. But that's the end of my lengthy pitch. So this is Gerald from Star Wars Fanatic, wishing you all great health and happiness and peace. And remember, this is the way, the only way.